Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Spotlight series. On Club TV, I'm your host Rajan and CEO and founder of ClubTv.in. And today we have with us another inspiring personality, and his work is truly putting an impact towards the sustainability. Let me introduce to you Mr. Shailendra V. Gokhale. He is the founder of Rosefield Energy Tech. Uh, Welcome, sir. Welcome to On Club TV. Would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Rajan, first of all, for inviting me to this podcast. So, my name is Shailendra Gokhale, and I have been working whole of my professional life in the oil. To start with, I started working in the fresh oil, if I can use that word. But little later, I realized that apart from fresh oil, the selling which happens in India and usage happening in automobile and industrial sector, the grave issue which industry is facing today is on the disposal of the used oil. And when I heard that it can be recycled, the realization came very late in my life after spending almost 20 years in the professional life. But that late realization has actually led me to start my company, which is Rosefield Energy Tech. And we do a lot of work in the circular economy of that used oil. And that's how the journey has actually begun.
Great, sir. And it's good to know that. My next question, Mr. Gokhale, is can you tell us about your organization role in handling e-waste in India?
Yes. So basically, Rosefield Energy Tech, when it was founded 5 years back, we always were looking at the fresh oil and used oil because they are the two different sides of the coin, same coin. Because the India is the third largest seller of lubricating oil, and obviously it has certain life. So like if we use in our car, then after certain kilometers you have to drain that oil, and then you have to put here the new oil. So this drained oil industry was not that aware in India, I'm talking about, that what exactly happens with that. And just one statistics I would like to share here is that 1 liter of used oil, if it gets into the water, it contaminates 1 million liters of the water. So you can imagine that how dreadful that is. So that always, were forcing me to think that what can be done in this sector. And that's where we started working in the circular economy. When I looked at the Western countries where they had started 30 years, 40 years back. So when I started studying, I realized that, if they can do, then why not India? And I was very fortunate to work with some of the companies in this sector who were equally serious about recycling of the oil.
That's good to know that. And my next question to you, sir, and what are the biggest challenges in India faces in managing e-waste?
So biggest challenge today is the collection of the oil getting organized and channelized into the recycling of the oil. While today 100% of the used oil is getting collected, unfortunately only 15% is going to the recyclers. Otherwise, most of the oil is being used today, unfortunately, to adulterate fuel or the lubricant, or it is also used as a burning fuel for the furnace applications. So, which ultimately emits a lot of pollutants in the air. So, there is a huge environmental impact. And one should not forget that in the country like India, where we are dependent heavily on the imported oil, through circular economy, even if we are able to get back certain used oil into the converted into the fresh oil, we will be able to save a lot on the used oil imports. So it has also economic benefit apart from the environment benefit.
How does the informal sector impact e-waste recycling in India?
uh, Huge. because as I said that the formal sector today, which is basically when we talk about the workshops, the franchisee workshops or independent workshops, they do have, some channel of collection and getting into the recycling. Today, the informal sector, particularly the small garages, roadside garages, they do not have any access to the recyclers directly. So the biggest challenge is that the collectors who come there to collect the oil, unfortunately, even those collectors don't know that what is going to be the impact on the environment, because these collectors have tendency to go and even sell to the industry who could be using that as an alternative to furnace oil, or which could lead to the adulteration of the fuel or oil. So the informal sector awareness is very, very important. Today there is lack of awareness. It's not like that garages don't want to channel it to the right recyclers, but they are not aware the consequences of this selling to the collectors who may not be taking it to the recyclers.
Great. My next question to energy tech, and I'm going to ask you how consumer and business contribute to the energy tech areas.
So, this energy take, and purposely I have put that in addition to Rosefield, because let me just tell you what actually how this name has come, and then I can relate that to your question. Is Rosefield, if you really see rose is, flower, it's a green. So, Rosefield is obviously filled of flowers, filled of roses. So, somewhere it also shows that there is obviously the green right attached to it. So that was Rosefield. It is actually working in the energy sector. So since I have worked whole of my life in the oil and gas, which is basic form of energy, obviously the energy I didn't want to limit only to oil or gas. Looking at now renewables going forward. So I never wanted to just put Rosefield oil tech. So that energy is a vast, and that also ensures that tomorrow if I want to see other renewables or e-waste, it's not going to be just used oil, but we can go beyond used oil. So energy is for wider world, and tech is something is very, very important today, because if you really use technology to track and trace the used oil or e-waste for that matter, you know that from where the oil has been collected and where exactly it has ended. And then it becomes very easy. So using technology is going to be extremely important. So Rosefield Energy has been, working on this. We are working with one of the best companies, the software companies, to ensure that ultimately we will be tracking and tracing. So that's how the word Rosefield Energy Tech has come.
Great. My next question to you from the energy tech sector, because this is evolving industry. What are the renewable energies you are providing to your customers?
So if we look at renewable energy today, it could be solar, it could be wind. Now one could even say that nuclear is renewable. Though there are, two different schools of thoughts, whether we can call renewable the nuclear as renewable. But keeping that aside, I think India has embarked on a journey of making best use of solar, because we are very fortunate to get the sun all across the 65 days. So solar was going to be always winning alternative to the oil and gas. Wind is also India is investing a lot. But I would say, in addition to renewables, if world can move more towards cleaner fuels, it can also ensure that we have the most optimum use, because gas, for that matter, is cleaner. And I would definitely not endorse the coal for that matter, because coal is a very hydrocarbon, very dirty. But if we could make use of gas in place of coal to produce electricity, it can offer some good alternatives. So while
Gas, you mean the LPG?
LPG, LNG, so yeah, so any gas, natural gas, I would also think that it is going to be next big source of energy. India, in fact, is planning to go from 6% today to 15% by end of this decade. So, which also will underline importance of gas for India, not just wind and solar. So we are looking at couple of things, and now this used oil circular economy is in a way the energy recovery, right? Means you are not exploiting the natural resources further by taking it out from the ground. Whatever has been extracted already, you are using that in the circular economy. So in a way, that's actually a renewable, in my view, because yeah,
Just great to know that, sir, and it's such a informative. My next question to over to you, sir. What are the key principle of a circular economy?
so basically, circular economy is when we can use or reuse the same oil. That's the key principle. Means reduce is definitely important. That's another principle. Means wherever we can reduce the consumption of oil, that's ultimately going to ensure that we are not going to extract the resources. And even if we are going to reuse, that we use the reuse usage also will come down if you reduce, right? So these two are basically the guiding principles for any circular economy. Also, one has to see is that whether it can be replaceable by any other way. So electric vehicles now, tomorrow, when we talk about that, it's not going to require any engine oil. So, of course, EV has its own challenges in terms of battery disposal. But for time being, I'm not looking at that. I'm saying in terms of the usage of oil. So, you're not only finding alternative to the oil, to EVs, but somewhere you are overall reducing, and then there is no need to recycle even oil, right? But which could be still 30, 40 years down the line, because industry will still need IC engines, and it is getting efficient. So that's something,
Would you like to share one case study within your organization which you successfully have been done and which put a significantly impact throughout your organization? Would you like to put a light on it?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So while we provide our consultancy to various companies, 4 years back we also thought that why not to get stakeholders together. Means the one of the key objectives for founding Rosefield Energy Tech was to build the strong community by getting all stakeholders together. And fortunately, I got an opportunity to work with Niti Aayog that time. So they invited me, and then they were saying that since I know a lot of people in the industry, I have a very strong network. And since I've worked in India for many years in this same sector, also abroad, I used to work for Castrol in UK. So I have developed some good global network. And also since I worked in Castrol India before moving to UK, it has helped me to create some strong network here. So knowing that, Niti, I wanted to know whether I can do something for the circular economy, because mind me, Rajan, that 3 years back, even industry had not heard much about circular economy, right? So the basic challenge was how we can create the awareness among our own industry players. And that's where Rosefield Energy Tech took initiative to organize the first event on circular economy in New Delhi. That happened in 2022. And there were a lot of challenges before that, because as you know, we were just coming out of COVID. So we're not very sure that how many people will, come for the conference. But we could overcome those challenges through our network. We could reach out to a lot of companies, and they were equally interested to know about the circular economy in used oil. And I must say that that actually created a good momentum. The discussions during that event really help government also to know that what are the key challenges industry is facing, and what they can do constructively, because a government was very much interested, the ministry was very much interested to accelerate the circular economy agenda. So I would say that that is our contribution to the industry, to the nation, that we could play our part to increase the awareness, to bring all stakeholders together. We had another two conferences on circular economy in used oil in 23, another in 24, and the fourth Rosefield conference in circular economy in used oil is going to happen on 26th May in Delhi. So I'm very happy to say that industry has welcomed our initiative and they have wholeheartedly supported it. So somewhere we feel that this is a good success coming out of our endeavor to create awareness and to work very closely with all stakeholders in the circular economy.
What are the technology advantages to improve uh, circular economy?
So basically, one biggest advantage is that you don't have to extract the crude and then convert into base oil to that extent, right? Because the technology which is used today in the refinery also consumes a lot of energy. So there is going to be a straight reduction in the energy consumption, which will convert crude into the virgin base oil. So, with that substantial reduction, I think the technology which is going to be used in recycling of the used oil is very similar to the technology which is used in refinery, which is more of hydrocracking or hydrogenation. But as I said, that there is going to be huge reduction in the energy consumed in converting that used oil into the refined base oil, which industry call RRBO, which is commonly known term across the world. And we also have seen that the technology which is getting better and better now. I'm sure that what Western countries are trying to do is in terms of collection. So today in India, there is no segregation of oil happening. So slowly using technology, we'll be able to ensure that this segregation happens at the generator end, and then that oil will have a better yield, which can be used to convert more into RRBO.
Say how all we can individual can contributing to carbon emissions, as you know, we are the climate crisis. Would you please tell us some light on it?
I think every individual can play a big role. Means today, suppose if I'm driving my car, all the time I should always think that how I am going to consume less and less fuel in my car. If I'm having the IC engine car, right? If I can pull the car with few co-passengers, and those things have already started happening. So individual can do lot of things. Staying suppose on fourth floor, instead of using lift, can I just use staircase? These are small things. Or if in case of air conditioner, if I'm uh, used to use at say 22 degrees Celsius or 23, do I really need that much? I can increase by one per degree Celsius, say to 24, and I can save a lot of energy. So if you really see, every individual can play his or her own part. And if I talk really about only the circular economy, I think as long as you are conscious of the fact that my act is going to help, saving on the environment part. So if I'm a garage owner, if I know that, okay, I should sell only to the approved collector who will take oil to the approved recycler, then things will go better. Otherwise, you will continue to burn oil in the air, and then a lot of pollutants are there. So if you really look at air quality index of metro cities like Mumbai or Delhi, it's very high compared to what you see globally. So somewhere I think we have our own role to play. Instead of thinking what government can do for us.
What inspired you in your life, and would you like to share one book or movie recommendation which can justify the energy sector, and it can be anything which helping startups and young entrepreneurs out there.
Uh, I would definitely think about Three Idiots. That movie has inspired me a lot. Means when the Three Idiots was and that movie has always talked about excellence, achieving excellence. And then they have said that if you achieve excellence, success will follow, right? And if you follow your passion, then you get excellence, and then which gets converted into the success, right? So that mantra always inspired me. So I when I watched, I was in a job, but that actually started pushing my boundaries, thinking that if I do something, on my own, because when you are in the job, you obviously have certain constraints. You have to work within your own boundaries. But when you are on your own, and if you want to pursue something, if you want to follow passion, uh, I think, you know, yeah, you don't have to really think. Success would come.
It's absolutely pleasure to have you here on Club TV, sir, and thank you for taking your time to connect with the Club TV.
Thank you, Rajan. And I must say that I enjoyed this conversation a lot. And I would like to wish you all the best and Club 18 TV for going and scaling new heights.
Thank you so much.